Hi, my name is Gloria. Some of you already know me. Today I'm just going to do this video is just a brief description of Ashtanga Yoga. What is it? To take the mystery out of it. So when you see it on videos, class list, you'll know what it is. Some of you perhaps have heard of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And the Yoga Sutras are kind of all about what is yoga? And the purpose of yoga, as stated in the Yoga Sutras, is to grow toward enlightenment. And to get there, Patanjali recommends following or practicing what he calls the 8 limbs of yoga. So the 8 limbs, just like the limbs of a tree, are all related. And in order for that tree to grow and be healthy, you need to practice all these 8 limbs. The 2 limbs, which most people are familiar with, 2 of the 8 limbs, one is the asanas, or the poses that you do in yoga, and the other one is pranayama, which basically means controlling your breath. Hatha yoga is a term that refers to practicing yoga through the asanas. And the modern form of Ashtanga is a type of hatha yoga where which was developed by Pattabhi Jois in Mysore, India. There are 2 ways of practicing. One is to go to a led class where the instructor leads you through the poses. The other way to practice is to go to a studio where an instructor is present, but you know the sequences, so you practice the entire sequence on your own, but with an instructor in the room to guide you through those sequences. There are 6 levels of these practice sequences. The first level is primary series, and then there's a secondary series, and then there's an advanced series A, B, C, and D. They get more difficult as you go along, needless to say. So each series is comprised of a set of poses that are performed in the same order every time. The sequences are very physically demanding. The primary series, which is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life, includes 75 poses, some of them which you'd be very familiar with if you've practiced yoga, others would be new. And it takes about an hour and 15 minutes, up to 2 hours to practice the entire sequence. Depends on how quickly or how quickly you move through the poses, of course. So the sequence is made up, it starts with a warm-up, and that's the Surya Namaskar A and B, or the sun salutations A or B. Every practice always starts with those poses. Then you do a series of standing poses, followed by seated poses, and then followed by back bending and inversions. So those things are all included in each one of the sequences. Why do I like Ashtanga Yoga? Why do I practice it? It's my preferred practice. I've been practicing it off and on for several years. In December 2018, I practiced in Mysore for a month. I'm still on the primary level and will always be there. There are some poses on the primary level that I'm not sure they're attainable for me in my lifetime. So when I'm practicing it, I simply vary the pose to a level that I can do, and that will enable me to eventually, hopefully, do that pose. So maybe I'm just warming up for my next life, where I'll be able to do all those poses and get to the secondary level. It's a journey, and it's a wonderful journey. So kind of like life. I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of things we're never going to attain in our lifetime, but that doesn't stop us from trying, right? You know, you keep saying, why do I always do that? Next time I'll get it right. and then you do it again. Next time I'll get it right. So it's the same thing. So that's kind of why I appreciate the practice. The repetitive nature allows me clear goals, like this is what I want to accomplish. And also when I start to get towards some of those goals, because there are things I can do now that I couldn't when I first started practicing. So it gives me a way to measure whether I've attained those goals or not. So try it. Anybody can try, anybody can do it. You don't have to be perfect. And hope that kind of clears the air and helps you understand a little bit more what Ashtanga Yoga is all about.